Good afternoon, I'm Ben Seymour of Kudzu Patch Productions, and I have another repaired dulcimer here. I'm going to bring you a couple of tunes on this afternoon. This is a Jethro Amburgey dulcimer. Yes, that Jethro Amburgey of Hindman Settlement School notoriety. But anyhow, this one is number 1045, built in 1969. That was just a couple of years before his death. And someone brought this to me. It had been stored in the attic a long time, and it had kind of sort of dehydrated some of the wood. There was one little crack down here at the right next to the end block, which can't be pushed together anymore. There's no flexibility there or anything, so I just stabilized that tiny crack and just left it there. But there were about 3 of the staple frets that had pushed through the side, so I repaired all those, pulled those out and repaired the side of the fretboard, put them back in, and also the pegs. It was kind of a curious thing. I don't know if this was done on other Amburgeys or just this particular one. The holes for the pegs were basically 3/8 of an inch on both sides. There was no taper, they were just straight through. And so the pegs that were in there didn't fit at all as far as like being functional. So I plugged all the holes with walnut and then tapered them and put in new pegs so that it can be usable. I also did something which was the nut and the saddle were both held the strings about 3/8 of an inch off of the fretboard. Okay, that'll work on the saddle end, but on the nut end, no, because there was no way to push the strings down to actually touch the frets. And so, you know, it was basically, it could have been a slide dulcimer, but that's all it could have been used for. So I cut down the nut. I know some purists would freak out over that, but the owner wanted this playable, and I think that probably Jethro Amburgey would have wanted it played as well. So I cut that down and, you know, got it all fixed up and everything. It is made out of walnut plywood, both the back, the top, and the sides. The back and the sides are very thin. They're about 3/32. I measured them with a caliper. It came out to .093. And then the staple frets were .048. And I thought at first they might have just been wire, but when I pulled out the ones that needed to be replaced, they actually were chiseled on the end. So they were actually little nails that had been bent over and were used for the staple frets. The staple frets run under the first 2 strings and not the third. The third is a drone. And so anyhow, I have it tuned C or G, C, C. So it's tuned to a 155 tuning. And I'll play a couple of tunes on this one. It has a great little voice to it. And it's loud too, actually. I'm kind of surprised at the volume that it puts out. But anyhow, I'm going to play a couple old-time tunes. So I'll play something like, start off with Holy Manna. Holy Manna. And I'll play something else. I can just imagine, you know, people sitting around Hindman Settlement School playing tunes like that. How about Go Tell Aunt Rhody? And one other thing on this, and this is a theory that I have, and I'm not saying that no one else has had this theory or that it's totally original or anything, but I've been thinking about this with a lot of the older dulcimers I get. Often above about the 7th fret, and sometimes even before that, the intonation gets off, and pretty severely sometimes. And I thought, well, why is that? And then it came to me, it's like, well, okay, if you had a high saddle, and it all depends on the pressure of your noter. So whoever was building this may have just laid the frets in according to, say, like the drone string, and then when they tested it with their noter and they pushed down the pressure that they're used to putting down. And so they would place the fret there. And that works perfectly fine according to whatever kind of pressure that you would use pushing down on the frets. Because, I mean, if you go to this 3rd fret, even right here, okay, it sounds fine if you lightly push down on it. If you push down on it hard, it sounds terrible. So it was all a matter of the pressure. And if you change that pressure, and if you have good control over the pressure of your noter as you go up and down the fretboard, you can actually compensate for those higher notes, and it sounds just fine. So anyhow, that's the theory I have, which is mine, and may belong to someone else too as well, I'm not sure. But there it is, and here it is, Jethro Amburgey restored dulcimer, and repaired, I should say, but put into playing condition, number 1045. If you'd like any instruments of your very own, or if you want a custom instrument, or if you want some repairs done, feel free to contact us, and you can find all that information at www.kudzupatch.net. Hope you enjoyed the tunes, and hope you enjoyed the little video. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.